Hey everybody, this is Sergeant Soldier, and this is What's on My Mind.
Hey everybody, Sergeant Soldier, and this is okay, What's on My Mind. Welcome. I got a beer and a guitar. Not really. Missed dialysis today due to some issues, and here I am on a Thursday night, having slept most of the day, but having thought a lot about what's going on. Um, I had a lunch with TK 560, aka Jim Egner, here in Nacogdoches, Texas. And we had a long talk about kind of where if we really wanted to, zero in on a part of G.I. Joe history that we wish would have happened, would have been what happened between 1976 and 1983. And what the, well, I don't want to get too detailed in it, but what the tech would look like in between those years as it transitioned from Adventure Team to the what is it about the great American heroes. And I think what it is my theory is that Dr. Benton Quest here um, was involved in the first clones that became the adventure team that first served in like Vietnam as big platoons of like Green Berets and First Infantry Division and all kinds of stuff like that. But where I'm going is kind of the Green Beret route, and Johnny learns that he's a clone, and that as he turns 17, 18, and turns 18, he's able to free himself from Benton Quest's overbearing grasp and care because of who he is and how valuable he is to the enemy. But Johnny goes and joins the army, and by 1970-71, he's a Green Beret and joins a bunch of Arban and Native troops and CIA troops on a hilltop at one point. And even Ray Spannon is there in the CIA in his role as a CIA agent. Again, kind of keeping an eye over him, but participating in a large, uncharted, unknown battle on the border with Laos and Cambodia, et cetera, et cetera. But what happens is that a few years after Benton Quest gets the cloning technology in 1947 from some itty bitty aliens that teach him how to clone, they come back and they have genetically modified themselves to be about 3 feet tall this time. They're in a much bigger ship, and they can show Benton, since he's a friend and communicates with him via a array he came up with in the 40s, is able to learn a new technology. Then, like about 63, 64 is when the second landing comes, and they teach him a new kind of cloning where they can tweak the different um, strengths and weaknesses and even the looks and the hair color and all that, so that by 1983 you've got clones coming out turning 20, 24, somewhere in there. I'm trying to say maybe this all happened in 60 and President Kennedy was in charge of it, and was maybe assassinated because of his sharing the technology amongst other units. Anyway, but because of his involved in creation of the Green Berets and the first use of the Johnny Quest clones in Vietnam. And but there are these. All that said, me and Jim, he was talking about what does a HISS tank look like in 1980 or 79 with Benton Quest and Quest Technologies, and what later becomes Adventure Tech, in those years in between 76 and 80, because that's Quest Tech and Adventure Team kind of combine, and President Reagan puts them to use in creating a new force by 83 of a bunch of new types of not clones but genetically from 83 on through with all the different code names. It's their code name is there because they have different strengths and weaknesses, as opposed to the adventure team, which are mostly the same, but they have some psychological difference. Like the blonde haired guys are kind of goofy, bro like, but thrill seekers. The Marine is more serious and is a high leadership value. The Army guy is kind of the all around, can do anything. But most often ends up in mechanics and engineering, things like that, because they like to tinker. And then of course, the action sailor who does a lot of diving, a lot of treasure hunting, a lot of sailing, a lot of paragliding and things like that that would kind of involve ocean and cliffs and islands and surf and things like that. So, and then of course the African American adventurer, or the I guess that's just called the. I've got his box right above my head, but he's standing in the way. I can't see what it's called. But so, yeah. So there we are. That's what's on my mind has been kind of where I'm going with a lot of the 3D printing. I'm doing a lot right now for my Vietnam setup, the super secret project that's not so secret about what it's going to be and where I'm going with it and why. And then what Jim Megner kind of brought up at this lunch, which was what would the world look like in 1980 with G.I. Joe if he was appearing in the Sears catalog? What would the interim jump packs look like? What would the laser rifles? Wow, those were necessary and being invented by Questec and Dr. Benton Quest, and have like someone that can do a much better Johnny or something, or a much better Benton Quest. He talks more stilted and more Midwestern because that's how TV is, and so the Johnny Quest show, he's kind of a Midwest guy, a real average accent, even they'd come up, why am I blowing his name right now? Anyway, Benton Quest has a Midwestern accent, and I can't quite do that. Have a bit too much of a twang. I even get that if I were to get a voice condenser someday to do the voice for Mr. Egner here. I would get a voice condenser that would make my voice sound like a stormtrooper. But that's like they're on Amazon. You can get one for like $186. Good Lord. Surely you can condense a microphone or set up something in, I don't know, GarageBand or something like that to condense your voice to where it sounds like a stormtrooper, and then add in comms and chirps, which are out there by the dozens for free, by the way. But you can put those into your videos and stuff like that if you have a nice stormtrooper like this, which I have. This is my Sergeant Creel setup. It's the only known lightsaber bearing stormtrooper that's out there hunting the remnants of the Jedi still. And I'm going to be able to probably print him up a 3D shield with a big Imperial symbol on the front of it. I don't know if I want to do that with a die cast, or I'm sorry, a die cut vinyl sticker, or just print it and paint it, or double color print it somehow, maybe make an insert to pop in that's this Imperial symbol that would just go right in there like I kind of did with my Adventure Team symbol. But yeah, listen, this has kind of been a what's on my mind. My health, I don't like some of the effects of just getting old and having to watch my diet and not eat certain ways, but doing it anyway. But here I am. I've been out on the porch a couple times today because the weather's so nice, playing guitar. Helter Skelter, I saw her standing there, and I saw that train coming around the bend. I ain't seen no sunshine since, oh Lord, I don't know when. I've been stuck in Folsom Prison. Folsom Prison Blues, because they all share EAB. really easy to get to and play over and over. I'll tell you what. So I've been learning that and having fun with those, singing, playing my blues scale, things like that. That's been on my mind. Weird dreams have been on my mind. Losing a dear friend has been on my mind. I keep not remnants. Members of the family are contacting me separately and across time over the past couple of weeks saying, thank you for a portrait that I did. I guess they had it as memorial. And they had to print it on a laser printer and frame it or whatever they did. But I wasn't going to send the original off. I quit doing that. I made it. It's for my wall. It's my brother. He's got a white mat now, which is very sad to me. I miss you, Kevin, already. Wish I had known how much time was left because I would have let you know how much I love you. But that's just not the way life goes. Anyway, that's been on my mind. I've, dealt with some very dark thoughts. That's been on my mind. Just about the Groundhog Day of doing dialysis. It's tough to finish up a full treatment. I'm getting a lot further. I'm sleeping through. I'm staying up late at night so that I can sleep through dialysis the next day. Been watching a lot of Combat. It's on all 5 seasons are free and full episode on YouTube. If you're into World War II stuff and just how they're carrying their gear and their equipment, it's a lot of fun to G.I. Joe that up because, they only carry like one single canteen. That seems crazy to me, but that's what they did. Did they even have a canteen cup to go in there with their mess kit? I don't know. They might have tossed it out because of weight or something like that. But they're wearing like I always forget his name because of course it comes up. It's like the old name all the characters and their actors in Easy Rider. And if you put a gun to my head, I'm I don't know. That's on my mind. Getting old and forgetting stuff. But Combat, it's 5 seasons, 26 episodes per. Great writers because they had all been in World War II, whether it was intelligence or on the front lines or whatever. They have a lot of different writers. Some are better than others. I caught an episode where they're doing the old, I'm stuck in quicksand. That used to scare the crap out of me growing up, that there was really quicksand everywhere. I made it on the riverbank one time, but other than that, I've never run across quicksand so bad I couldn't get myself out. I don't usually get in it past ankle deep without going, oh, hey, we're sinking here, let's get out. I learned that in Panama for sure. But, so that's about rolling up on 15 minutes of what's on my mind. Great vintage haul this last week from the Nacogdoches Cigar Company. That was nice. I got myself a 60 millimeter mortar. I'm printing mortars that are going to fit in there. I'm printing the tubes that they would come in. I'm printing it's a little oversized because it's toy scale, but an oversized crate to fit those about like 6 tubes inside of, so that at some point I have a large forward outpost with Green Berets and ARVN troops manning machine guns and a mortar tube and trying to fend. This was a big coup. Let me back out here as far as I can because I want to make a star of an old toy. What do I use for concertina wire? What would you use? How would you make it? Would you wound it around a staff or something like that? Or would you go and find yourself a slinky that I'm stretching this out as long as this long deck skateboard that I'm sitting on top of. It's got to be 48, 49 inches you can do that with. But what a great way to make a concertina wire stand-in. They even make a 3.5-inch version I'm thinking about going with because it stretches so far that I need like 3 of them to make enough to where the VC or breaching through one part of it with an explosive charge or something like that, and have all kinds of, claymore mines, and then machine guns, and then mortar pits, and then a HQ with a, captain looking out at with binoculars, and just a flash moment of, maybe even light it up in a way to where it's happening at night. So you've got flares going off, and illumination rounds, and all kinds of stuff that would be a lot of fun to render in a video some way. Don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'd like to do a lot of practical effects, maybe intermittent strobe light, things like that, to make it give the boom and bang kind of flash of a diorama. But it's going to be a big one, and it's going to be something besides my Land of the Lost, something besides my creation of the Scooby-Doo gang, updated into the 80s. And so it's something completely different than that. It's all Vietnam, kind of a Johnny Quest, side quest kind of thing. But I can't wait to do it. But anyway, that's been a good 16 minutes now. So that's what's been on my mind for the week of, I guess, April 13th, 14th, somewhere in there, of 2023. What are my thoughts Thursday, I guess we kind of call it. Anyway, this Sergeant Soldier out. It's good talking to y'all. Bye.